I always tell people my stories tend to be kind of serious and artsy, but they're not always. For example, I want to make an offer to everybody in this room. I would like to offer you the opportunity to be a Canadian citizen and never, ever spend another dime on bank service charges for a one-time investment of $75. Cash. Next time I do the story, I'll get to Bitcoin, but right now it's got to be cash. And let me tell you why. Okay, I'm a technical writer, which is exactly as much fun as it sounds. There are 6 big banks in Canada. I've worked for 3 of them. Banks are incredibly boring to work for, but they pay really well. And in all 3 jobs, I have essentially done the same thing. I write newsletters, or I manage their intranet, or I write meeting content. So around 15 years ago, I am working for one of these banks in Toronto. And I get taken away from my usual job to suddenly work with a bunch of salesmen. I mean, essentially they're selling investment plans. And I've been sent to work with them because I have to write an article about somebody they want to pump up. So these guys, I mean, they're nice enough guys, but they're all in their very early 60s, maybe late 50s. They're all from small towns. They were a bank clerk at one point, and then they were investment people, and then they made a lot of money. They were all from small towns in Ontario. They were all really into hockey. They still play hockey. They told me that they could have gone pro. You know the type, right? Yeah. Frank was the guy who was in charge of them. No relation. And I mean, he's a nice enough guy, but he didn't quite know what to do with me. He said, "Hey, Mike, do you play a lot of hockey?" Well, no, I don't think I played hockey after I was 12. You didn't? What were you doing with your time, Mike? Well, I was a theater student, actually. I did plays and stuff like that. Mike, what were you doing? What were you doing? Like when you were a teenager? You know how many hours of ice time I had? I had 14 hours of ice time every week, which is almost impossible. And I had like hundreds of hours over the entire year. I was on the rink. I was in the locker room. What did you do with your time? I said, I had girlfriends. That did shut him up. They have dragged me into this coterie of an investment banking salesman to write about one dude, a genuinely decent guy. The guy's name was Mr. Babenco. He was Brazilian. I think his family came from Portugal originally. He was one of these guys. He was a teller in Toronto, and every bit of money he made, he would put like 15% into the community. And he did this over 50 years. He started a community center. He started a newsletter. He donated his own money to get people into university. And he was retiring, so they want me to write an article about him. I meet the guy, and he teaches me the only words I know in Portuguese, which is, Bom dia, você português? Which means, good day, are you Portuguese? Do you speak Portuguese? Okay, might come in handy someday. I talked to him for an hour, and he tells me about these incredible philanthropic things he's done. By the end of it, I'm in tears. I mean, I think, you are such a wonderful human being. So I write this great article about him, and they want to have a retirement party. But it's a bank, so they don't want to spend any money on it. Because if you actually have a lunch and you invite everybody in this guy's bank, and then everybody who tells them what to do, it's going to be like $10,000 for a lunch. So they don't want to do this. They want to have a cost-conscious morale event. So it's a coffee break. They're going to bring him in with some people from the Portuguese community, and they're going to give him a present. They're not going to actually have a party, but it's a bank. They want to give him something very expensive. So they're giving him a watch, $17,000. I don't have anything to do with this. I don't think he even wants it, but hey, I'm just there. I'm writing the articles. I'm going to take pictures at the party. And I'm actually in a room. I didn't take part in the call, but I was in the room when they were pointing out this watch. They're buying it from a Swiss website, which is legitimate. It's a Swiss jeweler. And on the website, it's got pictures of, this is the France, this is the Belgium, this is the Spain. Since these guys are original, we're going to give him the Portugal. Beautiful handmade timepiece, $17,000. And I'm in the room when Frank is on the phone talking to our marketing department saying, okay, we're going to send you the website. We're buying Mr. Babenco. We want the Portuguese, okay? The first picture you see, it's going to be like the French model. No, we don't want that. We want the Portuguese. We want the Portuguese model. Yeah, okay. And here's the thing. See, this bank has its main office in Toronto for tax reasons. But the marketing department is in Montreal for tax reasons. And then the marketing department gets that information and talks to accounting to pay for it, which is in Alberta. So literally and figuratively, no one quite speaks each other's language. And this is a problem. So around 3 months later, the watch is apparently in town, and they're going to have the party. And I'm there to take photos of the party. I have nothing to do with this other than taking photos and writing about it. I wrote a nice piece for Mr. Babenko, and I had it translated into Portuguese. So I'm standing around as they're setting up the event, the coffee break. And it's crazy, because the food's not there, and the executives who were supposed to show up are late. And I don't think they have the watch. I mean, this woman from the marketing department showed up from Montreal, and she's got this weird little toolbox with her. And they think the watch is in the toolbox, but she speaks French. It's Toronto. And a few people speak French, but they've all told me the same thing. They've said, we talked to her, her accent is weird, and what she says does not make sense. So they're sending people running up and down this office tower trying to find anybody from Quebec, because maybe she's speaking Joal, it's got this weird accent or something. And I have nothing to do with this. I'm just standing around watching the chaos and watching this woman, because she is stunning. I mean, she is impossibly beautiful. But she's got these incredible features that contradict themselves. I mean, she's got this sweet, round baby face, but she's got these incredibly high, sexy cheekbones at the same time. And her eyes are very sleepy, bedroom eyes, but they get really wide when they look at you. She is thin, but she's really curvy. Her clothes are simple. They hang off of her perfectly, and her skin tone is, it's like a really pale, smooth olive complexion. Like, it's not Mediterranean, but it's like she's from the south of France or Spain or something like that. And I'm staring at this woman thinking, why the hell do you work for a bank? My God, you could be a model. Model. And I had this really bad feeling. So I went up to her, and I used the one phrase I got from Mr. Babenko, and I said, bom dia, você português? And she looks at me and goes, si, e você português? And I say, excuse me. And I go to find Frank to explain to him the marketing department did not send us the Portuguese model. They sent us a Portuguese model. He doesn't believe me. It's an event for the Portuguese community. We find a translator in 15 seconds. We ask her outright. And she says, yes. Her name was Adelia Fernandes. She worked with an international modeling agency in Montreal. And at the request of our marketing department, she has arrived to take part in this event. We just stare at each other. And through the translator, we say, okay, there's been a big mistake. We're terribly sorry. We will get you back to Montreal as quickly as possible. And then Adelia begins to swear. Like, I don't speak Portuguese, but I knew exactly what she was saying. And she opened that little toolbox, and that actually turned out to be her makeup kit. And she pulls out a contract that was drafted and authorized by our marketing department and paid for by our accounting department that said she is going to be paid $17,000 for the duration of the event, which is a coffee break. We don't know what to do, but Frank, for all his faults, is a really smart guy. He looks at me and goes, Michael, come here. Get the Portuguese version of your article. Get a highlighter. Highlight whatever paragraphs you think are most important. We're going to hand that to Adelia. She will read it in Portuguese. Mr. Babenko will translate it into English, making this a truly bilingual event. And go to the website, get a photo of the watch, go downstairs to the print place, put it in a frame, and we'll tell them it's being shipped. And it worked. I mean, the event went over beautifully. I mean, it was actually, I wrote a really nice piece about this dude. So by the end of it, Mr. Babenko is standing there, and there are tears of joy running down his cheeks. And Adelia is standing there, tears of joy running down her cheeks, because she's just cleared $17,000 for 11 and a half minutes work. And they still have to buy him the watch. So this is now a $34,000 cost-conscious morale event. Somebody got fired. It wasn't me. I don't know. But I'm bringing this up this evening because this is where you can all save money. See, I don't work for that bank anymore, but I'm still a customer. So every so often I'll get a bank statement and there will be this ridiculous service charge. I'll walk into the bank and I'll say, I don't want to have to pay this. And there's always a new manager and they sit me down. They go, okay, well, Mr. Derbecker, it looks like you used to work for us. You understand the importance of containing costs. And I'll say, containing costs? Yeah. I was at the $34,000 coffee break around 15 years ago. I'm going to go on Twitter and use your bank's hashtag and tell everybody about this event. And then they reverse the charges. So here's the deal. Anybody out there, you give me $75 cash, I will give you the name of the bank. Blackmail him yourself. Thank you very much.